I slept in here one night. Don't tell me about it.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Where's
I
that?
knew it was you.
Yes.
I knew it was you. 40-minute short doc,
Right.
not so short doc, about John Cazale.
Yes. You know, the guy only did 5 movies, and they're all amazing classic films. You know, I mean, the idea that this guy was Fredo in The Godfather, and he's basically known to almost anyone. You don't even have to be a film fan or at all. People say that's Fredo. But they don't really know this guy, and he just happened to be in Dog Day Afternoon, and The Conversation, and The Godfather, and The Godfather 2, and The Deer Hunter. I mean, that's a pretty good 6-year run, you know, and then he died at 42 while dating Meryl Streep. Yet he's sort of weirdly forgotten, and part of why I wanted to do the movie was to learn about him, because there's not much about him, and then also as a way to say, hey, don't forget this guy, because he's really good. He was really, really good.
Well, here's the thing that I'm curious about, because you say he did 5 films, 5 great films, all Best Picture nominations. He dies. James Dean does 3 great films, and everybody remembers him.
Right.
What went wrong? Should he have died 2 films
That's
sooner?
funny. Well, it might have helped if he was the leading man, and if he was, you know, there was some sex symbol about him. I mean, John Cazale was sexy to a lot of women, but he's sort of the thinking woman sex symbol, you know.
I wasn't surprised by the wonderful things Pacino said about him, because that made perfect good sense. But when Meryl Streep tells you that she learned something from him and learned to, like, sort of, you know, be a little more dedicated to her work, it's like, wow, he's got to be good.
You know, when you hear Meryl Streep and Al Pacino talking about what they learned from acting from him, that's pretty interesting. And I felt like that, well, there's the movie. And if Philip Seymour Hoffman and those people can, and Steve Buscemi and Sam Rockwell can talk about what they're learning from him just by watching him, that's also really interesting.
You got all those people who work with him, and you've mentioned them, but you also have those 3 great young character actors in Steve
Youngish.
Youngish. Maybe that's a symptom of my own advanced
Exactly,
age.
yes. I think I say that too, and I'm like, yeah, but he's like 45. Yeah.
So you got Steve Buscemi, you got Sam Rockwell, you got Philip Seymour Hoffman, and what I'm amazed by, and you touched upon a little bit, that Buscemi like points out all these details, and like Rockwell, I mean, like they all seem so intimately familiar, and I was wondering, like, was this set up somehow, or they really are such fans of
Well, it's funny because I had brought a little DVD player with the movies in case they needed some help.
That's because I'm
right. But getting those young guys to talk, it was weird. They said yes based on a letter saying we're doing a documentary on John Cazale. And so I assumed immediately, since they said yes, that they were interested in the subject. But I was really impressed and happy that they all sort of did the homework. I mean, like they all were watching movies the night before the interview to sort of freshen up. And I think that's why Buscemi very specifically is talking about things. But Rockwell, like, I have footage of him basically doing The Deer Hunter, like just doing it. Like he's like memorized that movie, and clearly like his favorite movie of all time. I mean, in that area where Steve Buscemi is talking about, if you watch The Deer Hunter, you can see in this group shot with 10 people, Cazale's like so in character that he's like checking out the girl next to him, he's zipping up his fly, he's doing stuff that you wouldn't even notice unless you're really looking for it, but yet it makes the whole thing more authentic. It's not, you know, he's fully in his character, and I think that in Dog Day Afternoon, I mean, Sam Rockwell and Lumet talk about the fact that they cut to him a lot because the stakes are in his eyes, but that's not lines of dialogue. And I think actors sometimes think that, oh, this is my line, and they circle it, or they do it with a Sharpie, you know, with a colored highlight thing. But it's actually the other part that they need to be working on. And the reason I think I decided to do this Cazale documentary is that I just felt like, hey, he had great taste. He worked with great actors, and they were great with him.